Lovely to see. So we'll just come together in all our different spaces and just spend 15 minutes sitting together. Please join me in the verse of the robe. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. Wearing the universal teaching, I realize the one true nature, thus harmonizing all being. So I want to say welcome and a really heartfelt thank you to everyone who comes and brings their presence and their practice. It feels like such a gift that we can gather together in this way. I think also tonight I just wanted to send a very tender, warm heart to Flint as he negotiates another transition in his life. And also to say a deep bow of gratitude to Nate, whose beautiful talk on Sunday was the culmination of I think months of preparation for his Dharma entrustment. And if you were there, he offered such a tender and compassionate talk. And I really appreciate him stepping forward into this role as a senior teacher, and his really expressed commitment to the welfare of Appamada and to all the rich community that is. And so I really look forward to getting to know him and all that he offers. So knowing a little tiny something of what being in this kind of a role entails, I offer such a lot of appreciation for him stepping into it. And I think I must be entering my grandmotherly mind storytelling phase. And tonight I wanted to share a story, but from another continent and by another writer. So it's I've referenced him before because I'm really touched by the way he thinks, by his mind, and he's a Yoruban social philosopher called Bayo Akamalafi, and I'm always intrigued by the way my mind does a kind of stretch when I read his writing. Very different cadences and rhythms, and as he very clearly says, he takes a crooked road, not a straight one. This story is a very traditional, I think, kind of African Yoruban story, and I wanted to share it because it spoke to me so deeply about our Zen practice, and so that sense of the Dharma is everywhere. So here's the story. Once upon a time, an old man called for his son from the city. The old man was frail and weak, and he was dying, and the time had come to say goodbye, to rekindle memories, to furnish the village with the proper rites of passage, to mark the spot in the ground where he was to return to the goddess Allah. "Let us do one thing together," he said into the phone, coughing and wheezing as he did. And in 2 days the son arrived, a bit disgruntled. He had been busy, you see. Most people in the city are too busy for the inconsequential ramblings of their elders in the villages. Some of us may know that feeling. Nevertheless, the old man blessed and welcomed his son, fed him, asked him about his progress, and then took him a few feet away from the mud house he had known as home for unspeakable years. "We will build another one. Here, both of us. No one else. the father announced to his suited, very ill-prepared son. But they got right to it, offering prayers and libations and cola nuts to the ancestors, slicing up the grass, cutting down 4 palm trees, gathering the debris, burning up the weeds. Soon a princely clearing slowly emerged, ready to be host to the hut to come. And over many weeks, filled with sweat, bloodied hands and great toil, another home grew from the clearing. By this time the father was a quarter to midnight, one gentle stroke away from being carried by Allah to cavernous depths. His city son carried on, and he eventually finished the work, and in a moment of unbridled joy rushed to his father's side to announce it. "It's finished, it's done, we did it, Papa, both of us, we did it." "Are you sure it's done?" the old man asked his son. But an answer had barely left his lips when the old man, with a cultic display of strength that shocked his son senseless, jumped out of bed, pulled out a mallet, and shuffled towards the newly minted hut. Surveying the structure, he lifted his weapon and struck the side of the building, creating an ugly hole in the wall. "Now it's done," the old man said. "Why did you do that? If you didn't like the way I handled it, you could have told me," said his distraught son, with tears gathering in his eyes. "My son," the old man said to him, smiling as he approached him, mallet abandoned, "nothing is done that does not have a hole in it. Nothing is so complete that it does not yearn to be something else. Now, this gift of a hole is in the wall. This gift of a hole is in the wall. When Emeka is going to the market and notices this accident, he will tell the others. Emeka has a big mouth, I know. He chuckled, coughed, and continued. It is the same thing with Mama Uche, the elders, the young bachelors, and those noisy girls that come to fetch water by the river yonder. When they see this hole, they'll come up to you. Serve them palm while they greet you, offer them cola nut, make sure to speak a proverb or two." And he turned from the sad face of his son to greet the hole in the wall once more. A morsel of wind rolled by, singing the night sky in the wake of its passing. It's the wound that makes us. It's our shared pain that is the cord of our belonging. In the city you are complete, whole. I offer you this last gift, my son, a reminder that the wound is the way the worlds gather. People who are complete don't need each other. And I read it and I feel so touched by it, because it's like, it's the wound that makes us. It's our shared pain that is the cord of our belonging. What beautiful teachings. The wound is the way the worlds gather, and people who are complete don't need each other. And right now in our worlds, I don't know how you're doing, but there's quite a lot of holes in our structures here that we have so carefully tended and raised, all the effort we've put into building things, and there are holes in them. And how can we see these ruptures as places of connection and places for the Dharma to flourish? And in our Zen tradition, to borrow another teacher's phrase, we inter-are. The story's by Byam Akamalafe, I'll put it in the link. And in these troubled times, it's very appealing to separate, to not be like, whatever it is one wishes to not be like. And in the course of our relative world, with our shared vows to end suffering, there are many ways we don't want to be, and many ways we do want to be lived for the benefit of all beings. But to see our sufferings, our wounds, as the invitation to connection, both to ourselves and to the whole world, Seems to me such a precious gift, that son who'd laboured under, under duress. He hadn't wanted to be there, and he thought he'd made this beautiful thing for his father, and his father put a hole in it because he wanted him to be connected. As many of you know, the song, by the beloved poet and practitioner Leonard Cohen, he says, "Oh, the wars they will be fought again, the holy dove she will be caught again, bought and sold and bought again, the dove is never free. Ring the bells that still can ring, forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. And it's how the light gets out. Our wounds are our connection to the world. They're not the places that we have to cover, the places of shame or darkness. They're actually how our humanity gets out into the world. And my question to myself is, in this darkening world, how is my light going to be offered? In this darkening world, how's your light going to be offered? And we've been studying, some of us, the parameters, and in the chapter on the parameter on practice, on focus and meditation, Norman Fisher says in his book, "And the world could be otherwise." And I've always found that an intriguing title, given, just this. But the world could be otherwise. And he says, "And once bodhisattvas, i.e. you and me, accept and fully integrate the unsatisfactory nature of our lives in this broken world of partiality, they see that the pain and trouble inherent in alienated consciousnesses are exactly the pain and trouble we need to live in this life of sorrow and healing together with everyone in a painful and gorgeous world." So he's saying the same things. The trouble inherent in our alienated consciousness are exactly the pain and trouble we need. The holes in us, holes that life has put in us, the holes we've put in ourselves. And he says of our suffering and our tangled thoughts, "No matter how afflictive it is, it comes originally not from our smallness, but from the endless past of the storehouse consciousness. It comes from the vastness of the time-space simultaneity." Dogen speaks about that in his text. Every thought, every perception, every emotion is precious and immense, no matter what it is. In IFS, they say, no bad parts, but what would it be like to think no bad thoughts, no bad feelings, no bad frailties? Just the places where the light gets in and out. And I'm intrigued by that idea that our thoughts are not separate. They don't belong wholly to us. They're from the endless past of the storehouse consciousness. And they're precious just because we are alive to experience them. They can only be felt through and in our bodies because we're alive. I confess I have no actual idea what the storehouse consciousness actually is. But I can kind of get a feel of the idea of it. And I can think that however unique I think I am, there isn't a single thought or a feeling I've had that some other human throughout time and history hasn't thought or felt. And of course, cavemen were not concerned about the rise of AI or cyberbullying or the misuse of social media. But I don't have to worry about being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. But I'm pretty sure our human concerns about worth and meaning and belonging and loving and sorrow and grief, all the things we feel throughout our lives, were felt in their own timely ways. There's never been a time when people haven't felt stuff. Never. And I'm wondering about, when we can see ourselves in this light. And I think inquiry for me is such a wonderful example of this because we bring ourselves into our community with our questions and our observations and our vulnerabilities, the holes in our walls. And we find we're not alone. And our offerings open up the possibilities of other people recognizing themselves. That whatever someone says in this place, it's impossible that someone else won't have thought or felt that. And that seems to me the gift we offer each other in being here and sharing our vulnerabilities and our questions. So our practice is an invitation into letting go of this sense of it's just me or only I feel this, and of pausing momentarily in our self-centered dream to see ourselves in this vast flow of life and of energy, and to see others too, to see each other more clearly with tenderness and care. So I wanted to read just two poems. One is by Rosemary Watala Troma called Belonging. She says, "And if it's true we are alone together, the way blades of grass are alone but exist as a field. Sometimes I feel it, the green fuse that ignites us, the wild thrum that unites us, an inner hum that reminds us of our shared humanity. Just as 35 trillion red blood cells join in one body to become blood. Just as 136,000 notes make up a song. Alone as we are, our small voices weave into one big conversation. Our actions are essential to the one infinite story of what it is to be alive. When we feel alone, we belong to the grand communion of those who sometimes feel alone. When we feel alone, we belong to the grand communion of those who sometimes feel alone. We are the dust that hopes, the rising of dust, a thrill of dust, the dust that dances in the light with all other dust, the dust that makes the world. And then there was just a short piece by Eleanor Noster. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness of the world. All things break, and all things can be mended, not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. The broken world waits in darkness for the light that is you. So my invitation is, let's meet. I'm not sure what else we're ever going to do. So if anyone would like to come and just sit for a while and meet, I'd be delighted to do that. Julia.
I was just thinking about those holes. Sometimes I feel a bit like a colander. full
One
of
would be a good thing, wouldn't it?
full of them. Um, but taking the analogy even further, the more holes we've got, the more opportunities for the light to come through.
Yeah.
Um, I think the one truth that I've found in this practice is the truth that you're not alone, that every thought, every feeling, you're holding in common, I'm holding in common with so many other people. And I just think that is a very, very helpful um, thing for me to know.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happens when you kind of have that feeling of knowing it?
There's an ease somehow, an ease of knowing that that level of protection that I try to hold around me doesn't need to be held there.
Yeah.
That it's okay if the colander leaks.
Well, I have to say, colanders are designed to leak. Otherwise, it's a pan. We are designed to connect through our vulnerability as well as joy and love and care. But it really touches my heart to hear you say that because it feels like that's been a journey to get to a place where you can, I imagine, at times truly know you're not alone.
I think exposing one's vulnerability is something that, yeah, I find very hard.
Yeah,
But again, I know I'm not alone in that.
absolutely. And I really commend your bravery. It touches me. Thank you. Mm. Jan.
Hi, Trudy. Quite emotional.
Mm.
Um, I've had an experience which was, I felt very vulnerable, and it's been very connecting. I I felt like I ended up having an experience that was very different to my normal world, my normal experience. Um, I I know you know part of the story, Trudy, but I'll just so people know what I'm talking about. Is that last week on Tuesday I hurt my hand, and the pain was so excruciating I fainted, and I fell on the kitchen floor, on the stone kitchen floor, and hit my head. So I woke up from just a very I think very short loss of consciousness, and there was a pool of blood on the floor. So it was a big shock,
Mm.
and I guess I'm not used to feeling physically vulnerable. It was a big thing for me.
To know you've got a body,
Yeah, and to
really,
know that it's so vulnerable.
to know, yeah.
Yeah, and I was noticing myself, part of me slipping into self-chastisement about how it could have been prevented. But I resisted, because this was where I was. Um, uh, I guess what felt the opportunity for connection was, apart from all the love that's poured in from friends, is to go to A&E, accident and emergency, and to to feel very vulnerable, but feel actually very, very safe, in
Mm.
safe hands. I was really touched by the connection, the genuine care that I experienced from the staff, who were extremely stressed in terms of the demands they're under. So I saw life through very different eyes, lying on that trolley in a corridor, with trolleys going past and ambulance staff and doctors and nurses and beeps and buzzers and doors slamming. And I was just blown away by the staff and the way in which people, the staff, the nurses, the doctors, the ambulance workers, offered themselves with such tender care.
Yeah. Like meeting and meeting and meeting.
Yeah, over and over and over again. Yeah. So when you said the wound that makes us, it's like, yeah, I had a wound. I have a wound at the back of my head here. Um, so there's actually a physical wound, not just a sort of emotional wound. It's like, but through this experience, I I became connected with a whole world of experience that I would normally not know anything of.
Yeah.
I saw what it was like for people on trolleys, elderly people with broken limbs, crying in pain, people, families trying to soothe them, and they've got dementia and they keep on asking the same questions over and over, where am I? And so on. You know, it was a real opportunity for me to experience, to connect with their worlds.
Yeah. And it sounds like you took your practice there.
It got me through. I I somehow I was so present, just lying there, and I could do nothing. I was so dizzy I couldn't move my head. I couldn't get up and, I don't know, do anything with any of the things that I've brought. I just had to lie down the whole of the time. And I was really aware that the buzzers that going, the noise was going. Sometimes someone would bang into your bed, as they passed by, not, accidentally. And it was like I was just practicing accepting and accepting and accepting. And the door banging was just a door banging. It wasn't bad, it wasn't good. It was just a door banging. No discernment, no judgment. And my practice of that 24 hours lying on that trolley, feeling totally incapacitated, my practice got me through.
And opened you to the
And
possibilities
yeah, yeah,
so that you could be someone there not making things worse.
yes, absolutely. Not making things worse, not complaining, not complaining because there isn't a this or there isn't any that, and there's, and it's too noisy and it's too busy and the lights are too bright and not complaining about so many of the things I could have complained about.
Yeah. Hmm. So I can feel like the shock's still reverberating, the opening is still reverberating.
Yeah, yeah.
You still
And
need tender care.
it's still very tender, and I think I've moved forward and closed it down.
Hmm.
And so I feel like this has like opened it out again, coming and talking about it, which is sort of what I wanted to do because I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
and I want to appreciate, and I want to appreciate. That feels really important, and I've just written a lengthy email to the NHS urgent services to commend them, because it feels they get so much criticism.
Yeah, but you saw their humanity.
I did. I did. I did see their humanity. And my practice helped me to do that.
And your tender heart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for coming forward, because you will be naming an experience, that shock of something. In the old-fashioned way, we would say things turn on a sixpence,
Yeah,
and the sixpence was a
totally.
very tiny coin, like a dime,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
didn't plan that at breakfast.
Certainly not. And it just completely derailed my whole week.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's life. That's how life is, isn't it?
absolutely.
I plan and pretty strongly to prevent. So I think.
Yep, but the gift is also knowing that you got derailed,
Mm.
and something else happened that you couldn't have predicted or asked for.
Yeah. And I'm glad for it. Weirdly, I'm
Yeah,
glad for it. I'm
yeah,
not sitting here going, that shouldn't have happened. What a horrible thing to happen. Yeah, it was pretty horrible, but on balance, actually, I'm glad for it because what I learned and what I saw and what I connected with.
Uh, as you were saying that, I was thinking of that line in the story about, the wind blowing through, and it's like, and you saw the starlight, you saw the whole of the night through that hole, like something opened.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Well, and I'm also very glad you're mostly all right.
yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Thank you, Trudy.
Thank you. Mm. Bridget.
Good evening, Trudy. Thank you so much for your presence and your offering. I lived in Alaska for 3 years, and so I know so much of what you spoke about this evening, and your poems and things brought out the idea of light. And of course, until December 21st, the days are getting shorter. And I'm just wanting to voice my desire to use some of that light in writing the first birthday congratulations to my new daughter-in-law, because I don't really know her very well. My son and she had to have a 5-year relationship, commuting between for a while, different continents and then different cities. So, and I know you have either daughter-in-laws or son-in-laws, because I know you have twin grandchildren. Of the different things you mentioned, I obviously am not going to talk about blasting holes in a wall, but what I I feel so vulnerable, and it's out of joy. But this is the son that was sort of separated from me, and then we reconciled, and they invited me to the wedding.
Yeah, I
But
was wondering.
it's I'm just thinking, how do you say that you're happy that this person has brought light into the life of their son, and yet I know just less than a year before they got married, her younger brother died. So, and I'd already acknowledged that, but I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts about that. I didn't expect to get so emotional, but
I can see it's really important that you share something that feels authentic and honest in this, really hard, wrought relationship. And to have the opportunity, just, it sounds like that, saying the things you're saying. Here's an opportunity to extend gratitude to someone because they love your son.
well, just thank you for your offering today because it's inspiring me and it feels good to be able to be this tender.
Yeah.
I've spent much of my life trying to hold it all in and you and the people present here being able to witness this are all part of my healing. So I want
Thank
to
you.
say thank you.
Yeah. And I'm, because your background is kind of faded, you feel like a beautiful light. I'm sitting here seeing how you're sitting, and there's such beauty and such light in you. I was thinking, just share that.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Darcy. Hmm.
Yeah, I appreciate so much you're bringing up this whole issue of vulnerability, and I really appreciate what Bridget had to say too. I think what was moving in me was before Bridget talked was, do I want to ask about this? I don't know how to be vulnerable, how to let myself be vulnerable with people I care about, but who are not real skilled with handling me
Yeah.
in my vulnerability. And had a situation with my sister last week, and I love her dearly. But at one point, it didn't go well, and hadn't. I know I had been holding her off on an issue that I was very vulnerable about. And she didn't ask about it either, until things just got a little too escalated and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I was going to ask you, how do you let yourself be vulnerable when you're also, there's little pockets of shame, there's fear I'm going to be hurt because she tends to ask questions I don't want to hear. Um, And I'll just say one more thing. I realize, and especially, with Bridget being so tender, which is so sweet, is I know I want to reach out to my sister in some way, but I don't know how. I don't want to invite a lot of questions, yeah, about this situation.
Yeah, I was thinking, just like Suzuki Roshi says, not always so. So I also give myself that kind of latitude about, where is this going to support me in the relationship, and where is this actually, maybe not going to be quite the right timing for me or for them. And where am I assuming that, and where do I know that? Because that's a bit of a thing to play with. Do I assume someone's not going to be able to handle it, or do I know they're not going to be able to handle it? But I was also thinking it's okay to put boundaries around our needs, like to say, I really want to, you said it so beautifully. I really want to be close to you, but I don't want a lot of questions.
I say that to my husband sometimes, like, I want to tell you something, but I don't want any questions about it. But I've never done it with anyone else. I guess I could do it with her too.
I'm like, well, you can give it a go. It's like we don't know until we try, and there's something about, you know, yeah, I've got this sore space and I don't want you to rip the bandage off and poke something in it. It's like it doesn't work so well.
And I do trust her in that way.
Ah,
She would not rip a band-aid off if she knew that's what it felt like. You
oh,
know, she's
okay.
not, yeah.
So what a great thing to know about. You can say this has got a big bandage on it, don't rip it off. And she won't.
But on the other hand, I want her to ask me about this issue. And the fact that
Yeah,
she didn't was upsetting. So,
yeah. We can't put our hands up people inside people and make them say the things we want.
yeah, I know. I realize that that's what I'm doing in some ways,
Yeah,
expecting her to be a little puppet or something.
it's we're around tender things, I get it, but it's like, yeah, that's the bit you can't control.
Yeah. Huh. But vulnerability, or at least speaking about it, not necessarily revealing the story of it, but speaking about it is what fires that connection. And that's what I know I want with her. I want that connection.
Oh, that's so
So,
great. Yeah, you've got great information. It's
mm,
like I want something and I might not be able to control all the outcomes, but who can? I can say how we could begin with this.
yeah. Well, that's really helpful. The whole bringing this up is very helpful.
Yeah. And I want to say a tender thing, so I hope this is okay, is that when Keb died, I wrote a poem
Yes.
about the inability to carry on even though we're loved. And I have a friend at the moment, and I don't know if she's going to be able to carry on. And your experience through that is really supporting me. So I just want to say thank you.
You are more than welcome. What little bit I can give to you with all of what you give to everyone. Yeah.
You're made of
Well,
all the
my
thread.
all my love for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm thinking we shall move to our practice principles, those things that we keep returning to again and again that help hold us in these tricky, vulnerable spaces. So let's join together. I love to imagine when I'm sitting in my front room hearing my own voice, that actually somewhere in the ether all these other voices are. So caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. Caught in the self-centered dream, only suffering, holding to self-centered thoughts, exactly the dream. Each moment, life as it is, the only teacher, being just this moment, compassion's way. So thank you so much to everyone who came forward and everyone who offered their presence in holding all of that. And thanks to Jess as the monitor, and I'll hand over to her. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Trudy, and thank you, everyone. Such a beautiful, tender time. I'm not sure there's a dry eye left in the place. Mine's certainly not. Appamada and Justice, all of the Sanghas exist because of you, through you. Thank you for your support. Please continue. And if you'd like to talk with Cassie, hang out on the proverbial porch for a bit while you put on your shoes and say hello. Thank you.
Thank you.